My name is Dominique Kennedy, and I tell stories about conversations. So I had a recent conversation with my husband, and in that conversation, I used the word bracing, like I referenced the word bracing. And I was explaining that the bracing that I've done in our marriage is not by way of anything that has happened directly in the marriage. It's actually something that happened well before I got married, across my lifetime, through my lived experiences, just this bracing. So I kind of wanted to talk it out and think it through. And I'm like, what is that? Like, what is the bracing? When I said it to my husband in conversation, what was I actually referencing? And this is what I decided. I am a person who is not afraid of conflict, but I absolutely appreciate peace. Like I like being in community. I like relating with people. I like the things that come along with relationships, both personal relationships, professional relationships. And when it comes to the different experiences I've had across my life, I've had to navigate all different kinds of relationships. I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I even mean familial relationships, acquaintanceships, professionally. Like there's different dynamics, there's different personalities, there's different ways in which we humanly relate to one another. And I always use the reference point of like my family has been like the greatest teacher around how I relate to people. And some of those things are things I have carried forward. Some of those things, quite honestly, are things that I've had to like sift through and decide, do I want to keep this? Do I want to carry this forward? Is this something I want to continue to do? And that's just a real part of life and how I've approached it when it comes to relationships. So this bracing kind of started when it came to like certain family members, depending on where you're from. I'm just going to say it like there's kind of a ruggedness, there's kind of a sharpness, there's a bit of an edge that comes with certain regions. I'll just say it like that. And so with that, when people from particular regions talk, sometimes the directness, sometimes the way in which they deliver what they're saying, it's pretty spicy. It's pretty sharp. It's pretty like out there, like no chaser, so to speak. So I learned over time, okay, this person means well, but also this is their delivery. This is how they make their points. This is the mannerisms they use. This is the body language I'm going to get. This is what they do. So I learned how to navigate that. And then I have some people who, maybe from a different region, has a particular way that they go about their communication style and navigating that because either they're very direct or it's this level of like sarcasm that I'm like, okay, I am picking up what you're putting down. I'm paying attention to what you're saying. I'm listening, I'm leaning in, and I'm really kind of like deciphering what are you actually saying to me? Why does it actually have to be said like that? But instead of me like breaking down every time we have a conversation, me and this particular person, I'm just going to level up. I'm just going to rise up and say, okay, I hear you. And it's like this other level of bracing. There's another family member, whereas when they have called me at different points across our life, I actually don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know if you're in this utopian, excited high point. I don't know if you're in this lull, this, deep kind of I need you moment. I don't actually know if like I gotta jump up and be ready to like defend you. Like, I don't know. So, or I wouldn't know every time. So I began to receive their calls or began to navigate conversation with them in this staying ever ready is what I'll call it. Staying ready. So it's just this thing that I've developed over time. Whereas I decided, that's kind of fight or flight mode. That's kind of like, it's not even really freeze. It's like fight or flight mode. And I actually don't want to be in that mode. I don't want to continue to ready myself in that way. I don't want to be positioned to where I got to figure out which thing I'm going to do, because I have a bit of a vigilance about me, a hyper vigilance, so to speak. I pay attention to things. And this came not just from these conversations with these family members. It also came from different environments, different experiences, different exposure. But I've decided, you know what? I am going to both pay attention to the bracing aspect, but I'm also going to pay attention to what I actually need in that moment, what I actually want to engage in for that moment. And actually, quite honestly, do I even want to engage with you in this time, in this moment, right now? So I've decided that, and I'm like, it's okay to not feel like you want to brace yourself. It's okay to say, now is not the time and this is not the place to do it. And it's quite all right to say, you know what? I'm going to manage this relationship in this way. I'm going to communicate with you about what works for me and what doesn't. And quite honestly, I'm going to pick and choose. Like, I don't have to do the things. I am going to choose what things I would like to engage in and how I would like to accept being in relationship. So there's that.